Welcome to episode 203 of Fresh Air at 5. In this episode, you're going to hear from me talk about my reflections on 3 podcasts I listen to. We have things such as the Astrodome effect. We've got AI tools for helping teachers and students for personalized learning, and then looking at the ACE framework as far as a model for AI literacy for teachers and students. So many good things. Here where I live, we have had a deep freeze. Well, okay, it's not like deep freeze like North America deep freeze, but where I live, where it's typically not below zero very much in the winter, we have had sub-zero temperatures down into the -8, -9 degrees Celsius with snow last weekend, and that has been distracting for me getting out on my walk this week. So I haven't walked, so that's why this episode is called Learning from the Couch. So I talk about my learning from the couch this week as I go through things. All right, have a happy day, and I appreciate you listening. Tell a friend, tell a friend to subscribe, and tell them about the goodness that you're getting out of Fresh Air at 5. All right, take care. Thanks, bye.
I'm AJ Bianco from Podcast PD, a part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to now. Shows in the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting education podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
Welcome to Fresh Air at 5, the podcast. I'm your host, Brian Carpenter, coming to you every week from Abbotsford, which is about 45 minutes east of Vancouver, British Columbia, on the west coast of Canada. Fresh Air at 5 is my regular attempt to get some fresh air by walking about my neighborhood, which is located on the traditional and unceded territory of the Stolo people, the Simath First Nation and Mathwe First Nation. I consume podcast content while I walk, then reflect on this content in an unedited video, which I post on my X, formerly known as Twitter, channel every day. This podcast is the collection of the audio taken from those daily selfie videos over the course of a week, Monday to Friday. So let's jump into my listening and learning this past week. Hey, PLN, January 4, 2025. I am just home from work after a very blustery, wintry day here. We had a snow day yesterday. That's why I didn't record yesterday, as it was just really snowy outside. I did not go out for my walk, didn't even listen to a podcast, and was just stuck at home. Today was work. We got to work, and it was good. All right, this morning, though, I did listen to the Creative Classroom with John Spencer, that episode that dropped just this morning, as he talked about the Astrodome effect and our approach to AI integration. He talked about how the Astrodome, the Houston Astrodome, was a marvel of technology at the moment in time that it was built and designed and put up. And then as the games went on and they started using it, they discovered that it was not all that it was hyped up to be. Okay, I'm coming right back. I've got some more things to say. One more thing for January 4, 2025, continuing my thoughts on the Creative Classroom with John Spencer, avoiding the Astrodome effect with AI. He talks about the flashiness of the Astrodome when it was put up, the high-end technology and all the things, but it was not good for players or fans, and it was not successful in the way it happened. Talks about how we need to approach AI with a similar thing, that it's, yes, we got lots of shiny tools and new things that we can do, and it's amazing all the things that we can do, but we got to remember that vintage innovation is important as opposed to just taking things as, fast moving as they are. Vintage innovation is looking at things that from the past, and how can we integrate them with things from right now? How can we keep analog things going on in our classrooms in the midst of a digital storm that we are facing? Take a listen for yourself. Thanks. Good thoughts there. Thanks, John. Bye. Hey, good morning, PLN. It is February 6, 2025, and this morning I didn't go for a walk because it's -8 out and really windy. We've got a bit of snow falling outside, and I chickened out, actually, so that's where it is. All right, this morning I listened to episode 182 from my couch, using AI and EdTech to personalize your classroom with Eric Geis and Nick Johnson from the EdTech Throwdown. So, I'm just listening to this. I listened to it, and it was fantastic because they talk about a number of EdTech tools and AI tools that we can use to personalize things from our classroom decor to the sounds in our classroom to the learning objects that students can use to get extra support for the content that you're teaching. Take a listen. Fantastic episode, and as always, a treasure trove of resources for you to listen to. Thanks, guys. Bye. Hey, good morning, PLN. It is February 6, 2025, and this morning I didn't go for a walk because it's -8 out and really windy. We've got a bit of snow falling outside, and I chickened out, actually, so that's where it is. All right, this morning I listened to episode 182 from my couch, using AI and EdTech to personalize your classroom with Eric Geis and Nick Johnson from the EdTech Throwdown. So, I'm just listening to this. I listened to it, and it was fantastic because they talk about a number of EdTech tools and AI tools that we can use to personalize things from our classroom decor to the sounds in our classroom to the learning objects that students can use to get extra support for the content that you're teaching. Take a listen. Fantastic episode, and as always, a treasure trove of resources for you to listen to. Thanks, guys. Bye. Happy Friday, PLN. It's January 7, 2025. Another couch morning because it's really cold outside. Yeah, this week I didn't get out for a walk at all because it's been so cold here. The wind has been blowing. But maybe next week. We'll see. Probably next week. All right, this morning I listened to episode 57 of the Digital Learning Podcast with Matt Miller and Holly Clark as they bring us a 3-letter acronym, A.C.E, for Learning and Understanding about Student and Teacher AI Literacy. A stands for Awareness, Critique, and Exploration. And as we use that acronym to become aware of AI, it's important we understand what it can do. Critique the results and have a framework in our heads for being critical thinkers about what we get. And exploration, how can AI serve us in our classroom to give us time back that we are missing by doing other tasks? Take a listen. The last thing for January 7, 2025, on the heels of episode 57 of the Digital Learning Podcast with Matt Miller and Holly Clark, the ACE acronym. Fantastic. I like it. Take a listen for that yourself as they put it together really good about what awareness, critique, and exploration has to do with AI literacy. Important that we are AI literate, not just using tools that have buttons that give us results of rubrics, and we don't understand how the nuances of those tools work and where those information is coming from. AI searches are different than Google searches, and Holly makes her prediction that Google searches are on their way out, which, you know what, Holly, that's a curiosity for me because I think it's important that we still understand the results we're getting, and yes, it's unfortunate. All right, happy Friday. Talk to y'all. Take care. Okay, bye-bye.
I appreciate you giving me a listen as I've created this podcast experience for you. It's like a unique Blinkist or Coles Notes version of the content I take in, like a highlight reel, so that you can hopefully find some other interesting podcasts you may not have considered before. I've recorded the specific episode podcast titles and episode numbers in the show notes, which are only a click or swipe away for your learning convenience. I've also started to put together a Spotify playlist of each of the episodes so that you can also take a listen to those specifically, and the link to that playlist is in the show notes. Please subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming episodes. And if you enjoy this podcast and its format, share it with someone else. You can also follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Brian Carr, BRYONCAR, or at Fresh Air at 5. Tweet about your experience or give it a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. Fresh Air at 5 can be found on the Educational Podcast Network. Podcasts for educators, podcasts by educators. I hope you have a fantastic day. Get some fresh air before the day is out and take care of yourself because you are worth it.